In this peaceful space, we are going to travel back through the mists of time, wandering under a canopy of endless, shimmering stars, to a place of ancient wonder and quiet, enduring stone. We are traveling together to the lush heart of the Yucatán Peninsula, to the magnificent ancient Maya city of Chichen Itza. Imagine a serene world where grand pyramids rise silently to meet the celestial heavens, where whispered secrets of the cosmos are intricately carved into moonlit limestone, and the gentle rustle of the emerald jungle canopy sings a timeless, soothing lullaby. It is a place of profound beauty, a tranquil echo of a wise civilization that watched the night sky with quiet reverence. If you find comfort and solace in these nighttime journeys, please consider gently tapping the like button and subscribing to our channel. It is a quiet, simple gesture that truly helps our little corner of peace grow, allowing weary minds everywhere to find their rest beneath the stars alongside us. Now, as the world outside your window grows entirely still, and the gentle embrace of sleep begins to settle like soft dew over your mind, close your eyes, let the ancient whispers guide you, and let's begin this slow and soothing journey. Let us step softly onto the ancient, moon-dappled pathways of this sacred city. The air here is warm and fragrant, carrying the faint, sweet scent of night-blooming jasmine and damp, rich earth. Above us, the cosmos unfolds in a tapestry of silver light, mirroring the tranquil majesty of the grand stone structures that rest peacefully in the embrace of the jungle. As we wander through this sleeping kingdom, we will gently uncover the serene mysteries and quiet brilliance of a people who painted their dreams across the very stars themselves. Before us rises the Great Pyramid of El Castillo, bathing in the soft, ethereal glow of the midnight moon. This grand structure, known to the ancient ones as the Temple of Kukulkan, sits perfectly still at the center of a vast, tranquil plaza. The pale limestone reflects the ambient starlight, creating a serene beacon against the deep indigo of the night sky. Built with profound reverence for the cosmos, this magnificent pyramid is essentially a massive calendar woven from stone and shadows. Its 4 grand stairways cascade down the sides like petrified rivers of time, each possessing exactly 91 steps. When you add the final, unified platform at the very top, the total reaches 365, mirroring the gentle rhythm of the earth circling the sun. Standing here, you can almost feel the slow, steady heartbeat of the turning year, captured forever in this harmonious monument of mathematics and moonlight, inviting you to simply breathe and witness the quiet passage of time. As the soft moonlight spills across the terraced steps, imagine the arrival of the gentle spring equinox, a time of perfect balance between day and night. On these 2 special days of the earthly year, a mesmerizing illusion gracefully unfolds upon the northern staircase of this great pyramid. The descending sun casts 7 triangular shadows that slowly ripple downward, connecting the high terraces to the intricately carved stone serpent head resting peacefully at the base. It creates the serene image of Kukulkan, the feathered serpent gliding smoothly from the heavens to bless the fertile earth below. This beautiful celestial choreography was no accident, but a profound demonstration of the Maya's deep connection to the gentle rhythms of the universe. The stone serpent does not frighten. Instead, it brings a comforting promise of seasonal renewal, a tranquil reminder that every ending gives birth to a beautiful new beginning, urging your own mind to find its natural equilibrium and peaceful rest. Beyond its visual poetry, this magnificent pyramid holds a soft, acoustic secret within its perfectly proportioned limestone walls, waiting patiently to be heard by those who know how to listen. If you were to stand before the grand staircase and clap your hands, the echo that gently returns to you does not sound like bouncing stone. Instead, it is transformed into the sweet, high-pitched chirp of the revered quetzal bird, a sacred creature with vibrant emerald feathers. This wondrous auditory illusion was carefully engineered by ancient architects who understood the subtle music of geometry. The sound waves travel smoothly up the steps, playfully interacting with the terraced edges before floating softly back to your ears like a gentle forest melody. It is a harmonious blending of human craftsmanship, and the delicate sounds of nature, creating a peaceful symphony that reminds us how beautifully we are intertwined with the vibrant, singing world resting all around us in the cool night. Wandering away from the majestic pyramid, we gently follow a silver path, bathed in moonlight until we arrive at the vast, serene expanse of the Great Ball Court. This is the largest and most impressive playing field in all of the ancient Americas, stretching out before us like a tranquil meadow of carved stone. The sheer scale of this open space invites you to take a deep, expansive breath, letting your chest rise and fall with the quiet majesty of the surroundings. High walls, adorned with intricate, winding carvings that tell stories of ancient cosmic balances, enclose the area in a protective, comforting embrace. The soft night breeze travels effortlessly across the smooth, grassy floor, carrying with it the quiet echoes of a time long past. Standing in this grand arena under a velvet canopy of stars, you feel a profound sense of spaciousness, a gentle reminder that your mind, too, can expand into a calm, infinite, and boundless peace. Within the silent, towering walls of this monumental ball court, another marvel of ancient acoustic engineering waits to be softly experienced in the still night air. The parallel stone boundaries are designed with such breathtaking precision that a simple, quiet whisper spoken at one end of the massive field can be clearly heard at the exact opposite side, hundreds of feet away. It is as if the very stones themselves are gently carrying your words on a delicate, invisible breeze, delivering them safely across the vast distance. This flawless transmission of sound speaks to a brilliant civilization that deeply valued connection and the subtle flow of unseen energies. Imagine sending your worries out into this vast space, only to hear them transform into a soft, harmless murmur before fading completely into the peaceful night. The perfect symmetry of the acoustics mirrors the harmony you are cultivating within your own restful heart, preparing you for a deep and uninterrupted slumber. High up on those smooth, resonant walls of the Great Ball Court, bathed in the ethereal glow of the midnight sky, rest two finely carved stone rings. These rings, decorated with the gracefully intertwined bodies of feathered serpents, were the ultimate goals in the ancient ceremonial game. The players would miraculously bounce a heavy rubber ball through these small vertical hoops without ever using their hands or feet, relying entirely on the fluid, rhythmic movements of their hips and torsos. The game was a beautiful, flowing dance that mirrored the perpetual motion of the sun and the moon traveling gracefully across the vast celestial vault. Watching the imaginary ball arc smoothly through the air and glide perfectly through the stone ring brings a deep sense of satisfaction and soothing completion. It is a gentle reminder that even the most complex movements can find their natural, effortless flow, much like your thoughts, gently settling into the peaceful rhythm of the night. Let us drift slowly eastward, guided by the soft luminescence of the bioluminescent fireflies dancing merrily in the humid, fragrant air. Soon the expansive, breathtaking outline of the Temple of the Warriors begins to emerge from the velvet shadows. This grand complex is approached by a wide, welcoming staircase, its edges softened by centuries of gentle rain and warm tropical breezes. At the summit sits a small, serene sanctuary, silently watching over the quiet city below like a calm, protective guardian. The stones of this temple hold the warmth of the sun long after it has set, radiating a cozy, comforting energy into the cool night. As you mentally trace the elegant lines of the architecture, you can feel a profound sense of safety and steadfastness washing over you. The temple stands as a peaceful monument to inner strength and quiet resilience, gently encouraging your mind to let go of its defenses and embrace the deep security of a restful night. Directly adjacent to this majestic temple lies a mesmerizing forest of stone, gently known as the Group of 1,000 Columns. Row upon row of perfectly aligned cylindrical and rectangular pillars stretch out into the peaceful darkness, creating a rhythmic, mesmerizing pattern that soothes the weary eye. Once these sturdy columns supported a vast, beautifully thatched roof, providing a cool, shaded sanctuary from the brilliant midday sun. Now they stand openly beneath the twinkling cosmos, like a tranquil gathering of ancient sages quietly meditating under the stars. Walking softly through this endless colonnade, you feel a gentle, hypnotic rhythm in the spaces between the stones. It is like slowly counting your breaths, each column representing a gentle exhalation, carrying you deeper and deeper into a state of profound relaxation. The orderly, predictable pattern of the ancient courtyard naturally quiets the mind, replacing chaotic thoughts with a smooth, repetitive lullaby of beautiful geometry and softly glowing ancient rock. A short, peaceful stroll down a winding dirt path, softly illuminated by the silver moon, leads us to a truly wondrous structure known as El Caracol. This magnificent rounded building, resting gracefully upon a large rectangular platform, was the ancient observatory where the Maya skywatchers patiently studied the heavens. The name El Caracol translates to the snail, inspired by the beautiful winding spiral staircase hidden deep within its sturdy stone walls. This circular tower reaches gently toward the cosmos, its carefully placed windows perfectly aligned to track the slow, majestic movements of Venus, the Sun, and the Moon. The ancient astronomers would sit here in total tranquility, watching the stars glide smoothly across the velvet canvas of the night, finding profound meaning in the silent celestial dance. Imagining their quiet, patient observation invites a deep sense of calm into your own soul, aligning your inner rhythms with the slow, harmonious turning of the great cosmic wheel above you. For these wise and patient astronomers, the brilliant planet Venus held a place of immense beauty and profound significance in the shimmering night sky. The very architecture of this graceful observatory was meticulously designed to capture the exact moments when Venus would softly appear on the distant horizon. The specific alignments of the narrow viewing windows allowed the gentle starlight to stream perfectly into the dark, quiet chambers at pivotal times of the year. This beautiful relationship between the earthly stone and the distant glowing planet speaks of a deep desire to harmonize human life with the broader, peaceful universe. Knowing that this building was crafted simply to observe the quiet beauty of a wandering star fills the heart with a soothing, expansive wonder. As you envision the soft, silvery light of Venus quietly piercing the ancient darkness, allow that same gentle illumination to gracefully enter your mind, bringing with it an infinite sense of calm and cosmic tranquility. Following another quiet, dappled trail through the whispering jungle, we slowly approach the wide, natural well known as the Sacred Cenote. This perfectly circular sinkhole, entirely surrounded by lush emerald vegetation, opens up like a deep, tranquil eye reflecting the boundless sky. The surface of the water rests far below, shimmering with a mesmerizing dark jade hue that invites profound contemplation and deep stillness. For the ancient ones, this beautiful, serene pool was seen as a sacred portal, a gentle gateway communicating with the peaceful water spirits resting within the fertile earth. Standing at the smooth limestone edge, listening to the soft, rhythmic dripping of condensation from the hanging vines, you can feel a cool, refreshing calm wash entirely over you. The stillness of the deep water encourages your own racing thoughts to slowly settle, sinking effortlessly down into the quiet depths of your mind, leaving the surface of your consciousness as smooth and peaceful as polished glass. Within the silent emerald depths of this beautiful natural well, the gentle Maya people lovingly placed their most precious and cherished belongings. Artifacts of pure gold, carved jade, and fragrant copal incense were softly offered to the soothing waters in quiet ceremonies of gratitude and hope. These precious gifts were not lost, but rather returned gracefully to the loving embrace of the earth, resting peacefully in the cool, silent darkness of the cenote. Imagining these beautiful treasures sleeping quietly beneath the still water brings a deep, comforting sense of release and peaceful letting go. It gently reminds us that there is a profound beauty in surrendering our own tightly held worries to the vast, calming depths of the night. As you breathe slowly in and out, imagine taking any remaining tension from your day and softly dropping it into this serene pool, watching it drift gently down, leaving you feeling wonderfully light and entirely unburdened. Not far from the sacred ceremonial well lies another tranquil body of water, the Cenote Extoloc, lovingly named after the large, peaceful iguanas that rest on its sunny banks. This beautiful cenote served a much quieter, more nurturing purpose, providing the gentle, life-giving water needed to sustain the blooming gardens and families of the ancient city. The energy here is incredibly soft and maternal, feeling like a warm, comforting hug from nature herself. Smooth stone steps carefully wind their way down to the cool, refreshing surface, shaded by the sprawling, protective branches of ancient ceiba trees. The rustling leaves whisper soothing secrets to the gentle ripples below, creating a continuous, relaxing melody that instantly calms the spirit. Sitting by this nurturing well in your mind's eye, you can feel your own energy being gently replenished, drinking in the profound peace and quiet sustenance that flows so abundantly through this harmonious and beautifully balanced ancient sanctuary of life. As we continue our gentle moonlit wandering, we arrive softly at a smaller, incredibly graceful pyramid known fondly as the Osario. This beautiful structure shares the elegant, stepped design of the Grand Castillo, but it possesses a much more intimate, quiet charm that invites close, peaceful observation. Intricately carved stone serpents cascade smoothly down its 4 stairways, their ancient features softened by the gentle touch of countless passing seasons. At the very center of its highest platform lies a hidden, vertical shaft that descends gracefully into a deep, natural limestone cave beneath the earth. This quiet connection between the airy, starlit heavens above and the cool, silent underworld below represents a profound, unbroken circle of existence. The Osario stands as a beautiful, calming reminder that all things are deeply connected in a gentle, endless flow of rest and renewal, encouraging you to peacefully transition from the waking world into the profound, restorative embrace of deep sleep. Near the Grand Plaza rests a remarkable wide stone platform, adorned with incredibly intricate and repetitive carvings that stretch continuously along its quiet walls. While its history is complex, standing before it, now in the soft, ethereal moonlight, one is struck by the hypnotic, rhythmic nature of the ancient stonework. The endless repetition of carved shapes creates a mesmerizing visual mantra, a continuous pattern that slowly draws the tired mind into a state of profound, peaceful focus. Just as a repeating lullaby gently lulls a child into sweet slumber, the perfectly spaced carvings offer a soothing predictability that calms the restless spirit. Your eyes gently trace the smooth, ancient lines, moving slowly from one carved image to the next in a slow, tranquil dance. The cool night air softly embraces the stone, and the quiet consistency of the artwork becomes a comforting anchor, steadily grounding your thoughts and guiding you gently toward a state of absolute, unwavering relaxation. A few gentle steps away lies a beautifully proportioned square structure, affectionately known as the Platform of the Eagles and Jaguars. This elegant monument is decorated with masterful reliefs showcasing these magnificent animals, powerful yet rendered with a beautiful, stylized grace that speaks of profound respect for the natural world. In the quiet silver light of the moon, these ancient carvings seem to rest peacefully, their fierce energy transformed into a soft, protective presence guarding the sleeping city. The eagles, symbols of the vast open sky, and the jaguars, representing the deep, mysterious earth, exist here in perfect, harmonious balance. This exquisite equilibrium between the heavens and the ground mirrors the ideal state of your own restful mind, finding the sweet, tranquil center between wakefulness and dreaming. As you gently observe the quiet strength in these ancient stones, you feel a deep, comforting security wrap around you, allowing your body to sink even deeper into absolute relaxation. At the northern end of the magnificent ball court rests a small, beautifully preserved structure known gently as the Temple of the Bearded Man. This quiet, intimate building features incredibly detailed bas reliefs nestled within its soft, sloping walls, including a serene figure whose features give the temple its endearing name. The acoustics of this particular spot are wonderfully gentle, capturing the faint whispers of the night breeze and transforming them into a soft, comforting murmur. Sitting on the smooth, cool steps of this tiny temple, you feel entirely sheltered from the vastness of the ancient city, enveloped in a cozy, protective bubble of quiet reflection. The intricate carvings seem to tell slow, meandering bedtime stories, their meanings lost to time, but their soothing, artistic beauty remaining eternally intact. It is a perfect, tranquil nook in the grand architecture of the universe, a quiet corner where your mind can finally curl up, feeling completely safe, warm, and wonderfully peaceful. Although these magnificent structures now wear the pale, soothing grays and soft creams of aged limestone, they were once a vibrant, breathtaking canvas of brilliant color. Imagine the gentle moonlight revealing subtle fading traces of deep, rich reds, vibrant turquoise blues, and warm, sunny yellows that originally adorned the smooth, plastered walls. The ancient city was a joyful celebration of life, painted in the vivid, earthy tones of the surrounding jungle, the endless sky, and the setting sun. Envisioning these beautiful, vibrant colors slowly softening and fading over centuries into the calm, quiet tones of the present creates a profound sense of peaceful aging and graceful settling. It is a beautiful metaphor for your own busy day, slowly melting away, its bright, active colors gently fading into the cool, soothing indigos and soft, restful silvers of the deep night, preparing your mind for the quiet, colorless sanctuary of pure, undisturbed sleep. Radiating outward from the grand central plaza of this magnificent city is a network of ancient, elevated pathways known beautifully as the sacbeob or the white roads. These perfectly straight, smooth avenues were lovingly paved with pristine white limestone stucco, designed to gleam softly like ribbons of moonlight, guiding travelers through the dark emerald jungle. Walking gently along one of these quiet, elevated paths, you feel a profound sense of beautiful direction and effortless journeying. The road is perfectly smooth beneath your imaginary steps, requiring absolutely no effort to navigate, simply carrying you safely and peacefully toward your tranquil destination. The bright, reflective surface of the sacbe seems to catch the starlight, illuminating your path with a soft, ethereal glow that banishes all shadows and worry. These ancient white roads serve as a gentle, guiding metaphor, a smooth, clear pathway leading your weary mind directly into the safe, comforting embrace of deep, restorative, and beautiful dreams. Surrounding the neat, orderly geometry of the ancient stone city is the vast, beautifully chaotic embrace of the lush, tropical jungle. Tall, majestic ceiba trees reach their grand, leafy branches up toward the shimmering cosmos, creating a protective living canopy that filters the moonlight into a soft, dappled glow upon the forest floor. The jungle breathes with a slow, continuous rhythm, a gentle symphony of rustling leaves, the soft sway of vines, and the quiet, soothing chirps of nocturnal life. This vibrant green ocean of life peacefully reclaims the edges of the ancient ruins, a beautiful reminder of the gentle, enduring power of nature's soft embrace. As you listen to the imaginary rustle of the warm night wind moving through the countless leaves, you can feel your own breath sinking with the slow, deep respiration of the forest. The jungle offers a thick, comforting blanket of natural sound that beautifully isolates you from the busy world outside. As the silvery moon slowly arcs across the velvet expanse of the night sky, the magnificent group of 1,000 columns casts long, beautiful shadows that drift gently across the ancient, smooth ground. This slow, silent movement of darkness and light is a mesmerizing, almost imperceptible dance that marks the quiet passage of the peaceful night hours. Watching these soft, elongated shadows slowly stretch and merge is incredibly hypnotic, like watching the gentle, rhythmic turning of a slow, cosmic clock that has no hands and no rush. The shifting patterns create a beautiful, ever-changing tapestry on the cool limestone floor, a soothing visual lullaby that effortlessly captivates the heavy, sleepy mind. As the shadows lengthen and softly blur together in the deepening night, you too can feel your own thoughts softly blurring, the sharp edges of your daily worries gently dissolving into a smooth, expansive feeling of quiet, profound, and utterly heavy relaxation. The profound peace found in this ancient city is deeply tied to the Mayas' brilliant, calm understanding of time, which they saw not as a rushing river, but as a beautiful, endlessly repeating series of overlapping circles. Their magnificent calendars tracked the gentle, cyclical movements of the stars, the seasons, and the earth, with breathtaking precision and a deep, comforting sense of order. There was no chaotic rushing toward an unknown future, only the steady, rhythmic turning of vast cosmic gears, ensuring that everything would beautifully return to its rightful, peaceful place in due time. Meditating on this ancient, circular view of time brings a profound, heavy sense of relief to the anxious modern mind. It gently whispers that there is no need to hurry, no need to stress about the dawn, because the universe is turning exactly as it should. you are perfectly safe to simply let go, trusting in the slow, eternal, comforting rhythm of the beautiful cosmos. Just beyond the grand, silent columns rests a spacious open gallery beautifully named the Mercado, or the Market. While its true ancient purpose remains a soft, intriguing mystery, its open, airy design invites a wonderful feeling of spaciousness and gentle, easy breathing. A long, elegant line of tall, slender pillars once supported a sweeping, protective roof, creating a wide, shaded veranda that looks out peacefully into the encroaching, whispering jungle. Standing quietly in this expansive, open space, bathed in the cool, silvery light of the moon, you feel a beautiful sense of liberation and total freedom. The imaginary air moves freely through the open columns, sweeping away any lingering warmth from the day and leaving behind a crisp, refreshing coolness. This open, unconfined architecture beautifully reflects the expansive, limitless potential of your own mind as it begins to drift freely, unburdened by walls or boundaries, peacefully exploring the vast, creative landscapes of your approaching beautiful dreams. Tucked away in a quiet, unassuming corner of this majestic city are the gentle remains of the ancient sweat baths, beautifully designed for purification, healing, and deep restorative relaxation. These small, intimately domed structures were incredibly sacred spaces where the ancient people would cleanse their bodies and their spirits using warm, soothing steam enriched with wonderfully fragrant herbs and sweet flowers. Even now, simply imagining the warm, heavy, incredibly relaxing steam filling the small, quiet room brings a beautiful sensation of deep muscle release and profound, sleepy comfort. The steam gently opens the pores, softly melting away physical tension and drawing out the heavy exhaustion of a long, active day. Envisioning this ancient practice of gentle, warm purification invites you to completely release the weight of your own body, letting every muscle melt softly into the mattress, enveloped in a cozy, imaginary blanket of warm, fragrant, and incredibly soothing, sleepy vapor. If you look very closely at the base of the majestic Temple of the Warriors, softly illuminated by the glow of the drifting fireflies, you will find beautiful, delicate carvings of vibrant, opening flowers. In a city renowned for its grand cosmology and monumental soaring pyramids, these tiny, exquisite details offer a wonderfully grounding and tender connection to the simple, fragile beauty of the earthly world. The ancient artists took the time to lovingly sculpt each delicate petal in the hard stone, honoring the quiet, beautiful unfolding of nature that happens slowly all around us. Tracing the smooth curves of these eternal stone blossoms in your mind brings a gentle, delicate focus to your thoughts, pulling you away from grand worries and into the sweet, simple perfection of the present moment. Just like a beautiful flower, softly closing its petals to rest quietly in the cool night, your mind too is gently folding inward, preparing for a period of sweet, undisturbed, and deeply beautiful slumber. Walking softly through the vast, open courtyards of this magnificent ancient city, you might imagine the original surface beneath your feet. Long ago, these expansive plazas were meticulously leveled and covered in a thick, smooth layer of gleaming white stucco, polished until it shone perfectly like a tranquil mirror reflecting the endless sky. In the gentle light of the moon, this flawless, pearlescent surface would have seemed to glow from within, creating a beautiful, surreal landscape that felt entirely detached from the heavy, ordinary earth. Imagining this perfectly smooth, unbroken expanse of white limestone, gently expanding in every direction, creates a profound sense of uncluttered space within the quiet mind. It is as if all the complicated, tangled thoughts of the waking day have been smoothed away by a skilled artisan, leaving behind only a pure, vast emptiness that is perfectly ready to receive the soft, comforting impressions of beautiful, restful dreams. Carved with profound care onto the towering stelae and the smooth lintels of the quiet temples is the beautiful, intricate written language of the Maya. Unlike the rigid, straight letters of our modern alphabets, these ancient hieroglyphs are wonderfully fluid, soft, and deeply artistic, resembling small, square portraits of gods, animals, and delicate elements of wild nature. Each soft block of text is a tiny, self-contained masterpiece, a beautiful story woven smoothly into stone. Tracing the gentle curves and intricate spirals of these ancient symbols with your sleepy mind feels like slowly unwinding a spool of soft silken thread. You do not need to understand their ancient, complex meanings to feel the profound peace and patient dedication radiating gently from the incredibly detailed carvings. The quiet rhythm of the flowing symbols naturally lulls the busy, analytical part of your brain to sleep, inviting a deep, intuitive calm to slowly take its place. A gentle stroll away from the grand center brings us to a quiet, beautifully preserved building warmly known as the Casa Colorada, or the Red House. Named for a subtle, painted stripe that once adorned its peaceful interior, this intimate structure possesses a wonderful, grounding simplicity that contrasts beautifully with the towering pyramids. Its smooth, unadorned walls and classic, gentle proportions evoke a deep, comforting sense of domestic tranquility and safe shelter. Standing quietly before it in the softly glowing night, you can easily imagine a sleepy, ancient family finding peaceful refuge within its sturdy, thick stone walls, wrapped securely against the cool jungle breeze. The Casa Colorada feels like a warm, familiar embrace, a quiet reminder that amidst the grand, cosmic movements of the universe, there is always a soft, safe place designed simply for quiet rest, deep comfort, and the gentle, undisturbed peacefulness of a good night's sleep. High atop many of the elegant temples scattered beautifully throughout this silent city are tall, intricately carved stone structures known gently as roof combs. These delicate, soaring additions were purely decorative, designed gracefully to make the sacred buildings appear even closer to the shimmering, starlit heavens above. Woven from softly interlocking stones, these beautiful crowns create a delicate, lace-like pattern against the deep, velvety indigo of the night sky. As the soft moonlight filters beautifully through the empty spaces in the ancient stone, it casts a mesmerizing, shifting web of gentle shadows onto the smooth roofs below. Watching this quiet interplay of silvery light and soft, dark stone is wonderfully hypnotic, drawing your heavy eyes upward toward the vast, peaceful expanse of the cosmos. The delicate, airy nature of the towering roof combs encourages your own thoughts to become beautifully light and wonderfully weightless, drifting softly upward into the calm night. Resting peacefully in the southern part of the ancient city is an incredibly vast and beautiful complex, lovingly known as Las Monjas, or the Nunnery. This massive, sprawling palace is adorned with some of the most breathtaking, intricate stone mosaics in all of the ancient Maya world. Millions of carefully shaped, interlocking stones form beautiful rhythmic patterns of peaceful geometric shapes and serene, stylized masks of the rain god, Chak. The sheer patient effort required to carve and assemble this massive, tranquil puzzle is beautifully staggering, speaking to a civilization that deeply valued slow, deliberate, and incredibly focused creation. Tracing the endless, repeating patterns of the smooth stone facade creates a deeply soothing, meditative rhythm within your slowly resting mind. It is a beautiful, visual lullaby of gentle geometry and absolute, perfect order, offering a profoundly safe and predictable path for your tired thoughts to follow smoothly into a state of deep sleep. The recurring, peaceful face of Chak, the benevolent god of rain, watches softly over the magnificent stone palaces of this sleeping city. With his characteristically long, curling snout and gentle, swirling eyes, his image is carved repeatedly into the corners and facades of the quiet buildings, offering a constant, comforting promise of life-giving water. The ancient Maya deeply understood that the gentle, falling rain was the absolute source of all earthly life, bringing sweet nourishment to the soil and washing the green world entirely clean. Imagining the soft, cooling touch of a gentle tropical shower washing over the warm, silent stone brings a beautiful, profound sensation of deep relief and absolute renewal. Just as the soothing rain quietly settles the dust of the dry jungle, the comforting presence of the rain god gently washes away the busy, lingering worries of your active day, leaving your mind wonderfully fresh, deeply calm, and perfectly still. Nestled gently beside the grand expanse of the nunnery is a remarkably small, beautifully proportioned building affectionately called La Iglesia, or the church. Despite its very modest size, this tiny, quiet structure is completely covered in a magnificent, breathtaking tapestry of intricate, swirling stone carvings. It stands like a small, precious jewel box resting peacefully under the vast starlit sky, guarding its ancient, beautiful secrets with a soft, quiet dignity. The intimacy of this small, heavily decorated temple invites a wonderful feeling of close, comforting security, drawing you warmly inward away from the grand, open spaces of the sleeping city. It is a perfect, tiny sanctuary for the deeply resting mind, a beautifully enclosed, incredibly safe space where your softest, quietest thoughts can find a warm, peaceful home. The gentle energy of this small, ancient jewel gently whispers that you are entirely protected, completely safe, and wonderfully ready to simply let go. Tucked away in a quiet, secluded clearing softly illuminated by drifting fireflies is the Akab-Zib, gently translated as the House of Mysterious Writing. This long, unadorned, beautifully simple building houses ancient unread glyphs softly hidden in the deep shadows beneath its thick, sturdy doorways. The gentle mystery of these unread words does not cause any anxiety, but rather offers a profound, comforting peace. It is a beautiful reminder that we do not need to understand absolutely everything in this vast universe to feel completely secure and wonderfully at rest. The unknown can be a soft, gentle space, like a quiet, dark room waiting patiently for you to close your heavy eyes. Letting go of the deep need to solve or understand perfectly allows your weary mind to completely relax, surrendering beautifully to the soft, comforting mystery of the silent night and the vast, gentle expanse of deep, peaceful sleep. The ancient inhabitants of this tranquil city softly tracked the days using a beautiful, deeply sacred calendar known as the Tzolk'in. This gentle system did not measure time in linear marching lines, but rather in two interlocking, beautifully spinning wheels of numbers and sacred days, creating a peaceful, repeating cycle of exactly 260 days. This beautiful number closely mirrors the miraculous, quiet gestation period of a human life, softly connecting the majestic turning of the cosmos with the most intimate, tender rhythms of human existence. Meditating on these slow, beautifully turning, imaginary stone wheels brings a profound, heavy sense of harmony to the deeply resting body. It beautifully suggests that your own quiet breathing and the slow, steady beating of your resting heart are perfectly synchronized with the grand, eternal rhythms of the universe, assuring you that you are a vital, peaceful part of a magnificent, harmonious whole. Alongside their deeply sacred, intimate calendar, the wise astronomers of this silent city also softly observed the Hab, a beautiful, precise solar calendar reflecting the Earth's gentle journey around the warm sun. This smooth, predictable cycle consisted of 18 peaceful months, each holding exactly 20 days, followed by a quiet, resting period of 5 nameless, deeply still days at the beautiful end of the year. These 5 quiet days were a wonderful time of absolute pause, a soft, collective breath taken by the entire civilization before gently beginning the beautiful cycle anew. Imagine your own mind entering this peaceful, nameless time, a wonderful, expansive space where absolutely nothing is required of you, where all duties and worries are softly suspended in the quiet night air. It is a beautiful, deep permission to simply exist in total stillness, floating peacefully in the gentle, timeless space between the active day and your approaching beautiful dreams. When the gentle, sacred wheel of the Tzolk'in and the smooth, solar wheel of the Hab were turned together, they created a magnificent grand cycle, known beautifully as the calendar round, which completed itself only once every 52 years. For the ancient Maya, the quiet completion of this vast, interwoven cycle was a time of profound, deeply beautiful renewal, a soft resetting of the entire universe. All fires in the grand city would be gently extinguished, allowing a deep, profound darkness to beautifully blanket the stone temples, before a single pure new fire was softly kindled, bringing fresh, warm light back to the world. Envisioning this quiet, absolute darkness beautifully descending over the ancient ruins brings a profound, heavy sense of total release to the busy mind. It is a beautiful, peaceful clearing of the slate, a complete and gentle letting go of the past, making wonderful, quiet space for a perfectly new dawn. Returning gently to the edge of the Sacred Cenote, we look softly down into the deep, still waters, mirroring the vast, starlit heavens perfectly. Because the surface is so incredibly smooth and wonderfully undisturbed by the quiet night breeze, It flawlessly reflects the beautiful glowing constellations above, creating a breathtaking, mesmerizing illusion. It beautifully appears as though a second, perfectly peaceful universe exists quietly beneath the cool, dark water, a gentle, silent cosmos resting safely in the deep embrace of the earthly jungle. Watching the shimmering, reflected stars softly floating on the black, glassy surface is wonderfully disorienting in the most relaxing, deeply soothing way possible. It softly blurs the line between the sky and the earth, gently inviting your tired mind to drift smoothly between the waking world and the profound, limitless depths of your own beautiful, peaceful subconscious, floating softly into a wonderfully restorative sleep. Though the towering, ancient pyramids now stand beautifully in pale, soothing shades of gray, we can gently imagine the brilliant, breathtaking colors they once proudly wore. The Maya created an incredibly unique, vivid pigment known beautifully as Maya blue, a wonderful, resilient color made from mixing gentle indigo dye with special pure clay. This deeply soothing, intense cerulean blue was incredibly resilient, miraculously surviving centuries of harsh tropical sun and heavy washing rains. Visualizing this vibrant, deeply calming shade of blue softly washing over the ancient smooth stones brings an immediate, profound sense of cool, refreshing peace to the resting spirit. The color blue is naturally, beautifully tied to the deep, slow rhythms of the body, gently lowering the heart rate and softly calming the busy mind. Imagine your entire field of vision slowly filling with this beautiful, resilient, deeply peaceful Maya blue, wrapping you in a cool, incredibly soothing embrace. As the deep, velvety night softly thickens around the ancient, silent city, the gentle, soothing sounds of the tropical jungle slowly begin to subtly shift and beautifully change. The playful, active calls of the daytime creatures gently fade away, smoothly replaced by the soft, rhythmic trills of quiet night birds and the deep, beautiful, rhythmic calls of hidden tree frogs. This rich, continuous tapestry of beautiful, natural sound acts as a wonderful, soothing auditory blanket, gently masking any sudden noises and providing a constant, wonderfully predictable rhythm for your resting mind to effortlessly follow. Listening closely to the imaginary soft rustle of the jungle canopy and the beautiful, gentle hoots of a distant owl brings a profound, deep sense of wonderful safety and absolute connection to the peaceful earth. The continuous slow breathing of the surrounding forest becomes a wonderful guiding lullaby, softly matching the deeply slowing rhythm of your own peaceful breath. Let us gently return our quiet thoughts to the grand, central pyramid of El Castillo during the magical, beautiful time of the gentle equinox. The soft, rippling shadow of the feathered serpent does not simply appear. It softly, gracefully glides down the ancient, smooth stone stairs over the course of several peaceful, quiet hours. This incredibly slow, almost imperceptible movement is a magnificent, beautiful testament to the gentle, unhurried pace of the vast cosmos. Watching the beautiful, triangular shadows slowly lengthen and gently merge with the carved stone head at the quiet base is a wonderfully hypnotic, deeply calming meditation on the absolute beauty of profound patience. There is absolutely no rushing this beautiful, celestial event. It unfolds exactly as it should, perfectly in its own beautiful, quiet time. Embracing this slow, ancient patience softly releases your own deeply held urgency, allowing your tired mind to wonderfully, gracefully surrender to the slow, peaceful arrival of sleep. At the very heart of the ancient Maya civilization, deeply sustaining the builders of this magnificent silent city, was the simple, beautiful, and profoundly revered plant of maize. They did not simply grow this vital golden crop, they deeply, beautifully worshipped it, seeing the tall, gentle stalks as a wonderful, sacred gift directly from the peaceful gods. Imagine vast, quiet fields of lush, green maize gently swaying in a soft, warm evening breeze just beyond the magnificent ancient city walls. The gentle, rhythmic rustling of the long, soft leaves rubbing smoothly together creates a beautiful, whispering, continuous sound, much like the gentle, soothing rhythm of ocean waves softly washing upon a quiet, sandy shore. Envisioning this vast, green, swaying ocean of peaceful sustenance brings a profound, deep sense of total nourishment and absolute wonderful security, gently reassuring your resting body that all its quiet needs are completely, beautifully, and safely met. When you look straight up into the incredibly clear, unpolluted night sky above this magnificent ancient ruin, the glorious, shimmering band of the Milky Way is breathtakingly, beautifully visible. To the gentle, observant Maya, this vast, glowing river of countless stars was beautifully known as the Yucatán, the magnificent sacred world tree that gracefully connected the dark, quiet underworld, the peaceful earth, and the vast, starlit heavens. This towering, beautiful celestial tree offered a profound, deep sense of wonderful structure and ultimate comforting connection in the vast, boundless universe. Imagining this deeply glowing cosmic tree, softly stretching its starry, protective branches completely over the sleeping, ancient city brings a wonderful, profound sense of absolute deep shelter. You are wonderfully, safely nestled deep within the quiet, protective roots of this vast, beautiful cosmic structure, perfectly held by the gentle, silent universe, as you slowly, peacefully drift into incredibly deep, wonderful slumber. Resting quietly near the grand, towering pyramid is a beautifully proportioned, flat structure known softly as the Venus platform. This elegant, low monument is beautifully, intricately carved with symbols of the incredibly bright, wandering planet, gently tying the Earth to the slow, magnificent, beautiful movements of the evening star. The platform was a quiet, peaceful space, designed perfectly for solemn, beautiful ceremonies honoring the gentle rhythms of the vast cosmos. Standing softly upon this ancient, smooth platform in your gentle imagination, bathed completely in the pure, silvery light of the quiet night, you feel entirely wonderfully balanced and deeply, profoundly grounded. The solid, unwavering stone beneath your quiet feet provides a deeply comforting, wonderfully stable foundation, beautifully allowing your heavy, tired mind to finally safely let go of its delicate, spinning thoughts, softly dropping them into the vast, beautiful, gentle gravity of a profoundly restorative, completely peaceful night of deep sleep. The ancient rulers and deeply wise priests of this quiet city possessed beautiful, incredibly smooth mirrors, carefully crafted from pure, dark obsidian volcanic glass. Unlike a bright modern mirror that beautifully reflects the loud, sharp details of the waking day, these dark, ancient stones offered a wonderfully soft, deeply mysterious, and beautifully muted reflection. Gazing softly into a polished obsidian mirror is like looking directly into a quiet, peaceful pool of dark, still water, where harsh, bright edges are beautifully softened and bright, glaring lights are completely, wonderfully absorbed. Imagining this deeply soothing, dark reflection gently provides a wonderful, profound sense of absolute, deep visual relief for your extremely tired, heavy eyes. It beautifully invites you to slowly turn your quiet gaze completely inward, moving away from the bright, noisy distractions of the busy world and softly entering the deep, profound, completely dark, and wonderful comfort of your own peaceful inner sanctuary. During their quiet, beautiful nighttime ceremonies, the gentle people of this ancient city would softly burn wonderful, fragrant copal resin, creating thick, beautiful clouds of sweet, deeply aromatic smoke. This rich, earthy, wonderfully pine-scented smoke would gently roll across the smooth, quiet plazas, beautifully catching the soft, ethereal moonlight and slowly rising gracefully toward the vast, starlit heavens. The wonderful, soothing scent of the beautiful copal was deeply believed to softly purify the night air and carry quiet, peaceful prayers directly to the gentle gods. Even simply imagining this warm, sweet, incredibly grounding fragrance softly filling the cool night air brings a profound, deep sensation of wonderful, total relaxation to your heavily resting body. The imaginary, fragrant smoke softly, beautifully envelops you in a warm, perfectly safe, and incredibly protective cocoon, gently signaling to your tired mind that it is entirely wonderfully safe to completely release and deeply peacefully sleep. Scattered gently throughout the quiet, encroaching jungle and the peaceful, open plazas are magnificent, beautifully carved standing stones known softly as stelae. These tall, quiet monuments serve as beautiful, silent guardians of deep, ancient time, their smooth, intricate surfaces completely covered in the beautiful, soft history of kings, gentle queens, and slow, magnificent planetary alignments. Standing before one of these tall, silent stones in the deep, quiet night, you can deeply feel the wonderful, immense weight of centuries resting perfectly, beautifully still. The stelae are wonderfully, entirely immovable, incredibly patient, and completely, deeply undisturbed by the quick, rushing passage of frantic, modern time. Absorbing their quiet, profound, and beautiful steadfastness helps to completely, deeply anchor your own wandering, busy thoughts. You are beautifully, safely tethered to this incredibly solid, wonderfully ancient calm, gently preventing your quiet mind from anxiously drifting, and smoothly guiding you directly into a profoundly heavy, beautifully deep rest. For the incredibly skilled artisans of this magnificent city, the most beautifully precious material was not bright, cold gold, but wonderful deep green jade. This incredibly hard, beautiful, cool stone was highly, deeply valued for its wonderful, striking resemblance to the lush, life-giving jungle and the deep, vital, beautiful water of the sacred cenotes. The gentle Maya would patiently, lovingly polish this wonderful green stone for countless quiet hours, using only sand and soft water, until it beautifully achieved a smooth, incredibly cool, and deeply flawless finish. Imagining the incredibly smooth, wonderfully cool touch of a polished jade stone resting softly, gently against your warm skin brings an immediate, profound, beautiful sense of physical calm and deep, total relief. The deep, rich, tranquil green color of the beautiful stone softly permeates your heavy mind, replacing absolutely any lingering, frantic energy with a wonderful, profound, incredibly deep, and beautiful, enduring peacefulness. As we gently stand in the profound, beautiful quiet of this ancient, magnificent city, it is wonderful to simply reflect on the extremely slow, patient, and deeply peaceful passage of time. Centuries have softly, gracefully washed over these towering, incredible stone pyramids like gentle, slow waves upon a beautiful, quiet shore. The bright, sharp edges of the incredibly intricate carvings have been wonderfully, beautifully softened by the gentle kissing touch of countless, soft rainstorms and incredibly warm, whispering breezes. This slow, extremely graceful aging process is beautifully, incredibly comforting. It is a gentle, soft reminder that time does not have to be a rushing, frantic enemy, but can instead be a wonderful, deeply soothing artist, beautifully rounding off the harsh, bright corners of our busy lives. Letting this wonderful, deep, ancient perspective beautifully sink into your quiet heart allows a profound, heavy, incredibly deep peace to completely wash over you. Running silently, beautifully, and incredibly deeply beneath this grand, magnificent stone city is a vast, wonderful, completely hidden network of incredibly pure, gently flowing underground rivers. The ancient Maya completely beautifully understood that their towering, incredible pyramids and vast open plazas were perfectly supported by this deep, invisible, profoundly quiet world of flowing, fresh water. Knowing that this vast, deep, beautifully silent river is constantly, gently flowing in absolute darkness directly beneath your quiet feet adds a wonderful, profound layer of absolute beautiful tranquility to the magnificent environment. It beautifully serves as a quiet, powerful metaphor for your own deep, hidden subconscious mind, softly, beautifully, and peacefully active even while your physical, heavy body perfectly rests. The slow, incredibly gentle, hidden current of the dark, beautiful water naturally smoothly pulls your tired thoughts gently downward, effortlessly, beautifully drawing you deeper and deeper into a perfectly quiet, wonderfully profound state of sleep. As the deep, velvety, incredibly beautiful night reaches its most profound, perfectly silent midpoint, the entire magnificent ancient city of Chichen Itza seems to simply deeply breathe a long, incredibly slow, beautiful sigh of absolute relief. The grand, towering temples, the vast, open, beautifully smooth plazas, and the deep, wonderfully quiet cenotes all completely, perfectly rest under the watchful, extremely gentle, soft glow of the shimmering, eternal stars. The beautiful, quiet city itself is profoundly, completely, and beautifully asleep, gently wrapped securely in the warm, deeply comforting, protective embrace of the soft emerald jungle and the vast, peaceful cosmos. This absolute, profound, and incredibly massive collective slumber is wonderfully, completely infectious, sending incredibly heavy, deeply beautiful waves of total, absolute relaxation directly into your incredibly quiet, peaceful room. You are completely, wonderfully surrounded by this vast, ancient, deep peace, allowing yourself to finally beautifully surrender to the gentle, soft, wonderful night. Let us simply pause and gently listen to the beautiful, soft wind as it gracefully weaves its way through the magnificent group of 1,000 columns. This incredibly gentle, warm night breeze travels incredibly slowly, carrying the sweet, deeply comforting scent of damp earth and sleeping orchids from the vast surrounding jungle. As it quietly passes between the tall, smooth, pale stones, it creates a wonderfully low, continuous and deeply soothing whisper, a beautiful natural sigh that completely fills the vast, empty courtyards. This incredibly peaceful, rhythmic sound is wonderfully hypnotic, acting like a slow, beautiful, deep breath for the entire magnificent sleeping city. Imagine this warm, gentle, incredibly soft wind, softly brushing against your tired face, beautifully sweeping away absolutely any lingering thoughts or heavy concerns. The beautiful, continuous whispering of the ancient, quiet columns perfectly matches the gentle, slow rhythm of your own deep, peaceful breathing, beautifully guiding your mind deeper into absolute, tranquil rest. If you look very softly and beautifully closely at the base of these magnificent, towering ancient monuments, you will wonderfully notice a gentle velvet blanket of soft, emerald moss, peacefully clinging to the cool, aged limestone. This incredibly delicate, beautiful green growth is a wonderful, profound testament to the gentle, enduring patience of the beautiful, quiet earth. It does not loudly boast or forcefully tear at the strong stone. Instead, it simply, quietly rests, beautifully thriving in the soft, deep, comforting shade of the ancient, towering pyramids. Touching this beautifully soft, incredibly lush moss in your quiet imagination provides a profound, wonderful sensation of deep, natural comfort and absolute, beautiful safety. It is a wonderful, peaceful reminder that incredibly beautiful things can gently grow in absolute quiet and profound stillness. Let this soft, velvet, emerald imagery completely, beautifully coat the inside of your heavy, tired mind, bringing a wonderful, deep, soothing softness to your approaching beautiful sleep. High above the beautifully sleeping, magnificent stone city, a single, incredibly graceful white owl slowly, quietly takes to the deep velvet air. Its wide, beautiful wings are wonderfully, perfectly designed for absolute, complete silence, allowing it to glide smoothly, beautifully, and effortlessly through the cool, starlit night without making a single tiny sound. Watching this beautiful, majestic, quiet creature softly trace slow, wide, peaceful circles directly above the towering ancient pyramids is wonderfully, deeply mesmerizing. It is a beautiful, gentle guardian of the deep night, completely at peace with the dark, vast, and wonderful expanse of the beautiful, shimmering cosmos. The absolute, incredible silence of its slow, smooth flight perfectly mirrors the deep, wonderful quiet that is beautifully, softly settling over your own heavy, tired thoughts. You can wonderfully feel your mind softly gliding alongside this gentle, beautiful bird, peacefully, wonderfully drifting through the cool, silent, beautifully calm, and absolutely still midnight air. Surrounding the magnificent, pale, quiet edges of this beautiful ancient city are towering, majestic ceiba trees, deeply revered by the gentle Maya as profoundly sacred, beautiful living monuments. Their incredibly massive, strong trunks rise deeply and wonderfully straight into the dark sky, while their vast, wide canopies beautifully spread out like incredibly soft, giant protective umbrellas. In the gentle, warm breeze of the deep, quiet night, their countless, broad leaves wonderfully, softly rustle together, creating a beautiful, continuous, deeply soothing sound that beautifully mimics a distant, calm ocean. This incredibly soft, wonderful, natural lullaby beautifully, smoothly filters down over the quiet, sleeping ruins, providing a deep, profoundly comforting blanket of beautiful, gentle noise. Envisioning these giant, deeply rooted, incredibly strong trees beautifully standing guard over your quiet rest provides a profound, wonderful sense of absolute deep security, softly allowing your weary body to completely, beautifully let go of absolutely all its heavy, lingering tension. The vast, beautifully open, incredibly smooth plazas that wonderfully connect the grand, towering temples are completely beautifully bathed in the soft, pure, ethereal light of the full silver moon. The incredibly smooth, flat, pale limestone gently absorbs this wonderful, cool starlight, causing the ancient, quiet ground to seemingly glow with a beautiful, soft, internal, and deeply peaceful luminescence. Walking softly, beautifully, and quietly across this vast, gently glowing, wide expanse in your peaceful mind feels incredibly, wonderfully liberating and deeply, profoundly calming. There are absolutely no beautiful hidden obstacles here. No dark, confusing shadows to worry your tired, heavy mind. Only a wonderfully smooth, completely clear, profoundly beautiful, and beautifully illuminated path, gently leading you slowly forward. This vast, perfectly clear, deeply glowing open space beautifully, softly reflects the wonderfully increasing, deep, profound clarity and beautiful, perfect emptiness of your own deeply relaxing, slowly resting, absolutely peaceful and wonderfully quiet, heavily sleeping consciousness. Following a beautifully brief, wonderfully gentle tropical evening shower, tiny, incredibly clear, peaceful pools of soft water are wonderfully left behind in the incredibly smooth, ancient depressions of the white, quiet stone. These beautiful, small, completely still puddles act as wonderful, perfect, deep mirrors, beautifully capturing the bright, shimmering, tiny reflections of the vast, glorious, deeply peaceful constellations slowly turning far above, looking beautifully softly down into one of these incredibly clear, tiny, peaceful pools. You can wonderfully see the entire vast, magnificent cosmos resting beautifully, perfectly contained within a space no larger than your own quiet, open hand. This profound, beautiful, incredibly relaxing perspective gently, wonderfully shrinks the vast, complicated universe down into something beautifully manageable, deeply intimate, and wonderfully, peacefully soothing. Your own heavy, busy worries are similarly wonderfully reduced, softly becoming absolutely tiny, beautifully insignificant, and completely, deeply harmless as you slowly, gently drift into the vast, beautiful, perfectly calm, deep ocean of sweet sleep. The gentle, wise, ancient inhabitants of this beautiful, quiet city were incredibly masterful, deeply patient weavers, softly creating beautiful, complex, wonderful textiles upon small, quiet, completely simple wooden looms. Though the soft, beautifully colored threads have wonderfully, peacefully returned to the soft earth, we can beautifully imagine the slow, rhythmic, incredibly deeply soothing motion of their quiet, skilled hands. The wonderful, soft passing of the shuttle back and forth, beautifully over and under, creates a deep, profoundly mesmerizing, incredibly relaxing, continuous, gentle rhythm. This beautiful, slow, deeply repetitive action is wonderfully, completely hypnotic, gently mimicking the incredibly slow, steady, beautifully reliable beating of a calm, perfectly resting human heart. Visualizing this wonderful, continuous, beautifully gentle weaving process softly, peacefully lulls the tired, heavy mind, beautifully drawing your scattered, wandering thoughts completely, wonderfully together, gently weaving them into a single, beautiful, deeply smooth, incredibly comforting, and perfectly unbroken, magnificent tapestry of absolute, complete, and profound relaxation. Even in the very deepest, incredibly quiet, beautifully profound heart of the deep, dark night, the incredibly wise, ancient astronomers completely, wonderfully knew that the beautiful, soft dawn was always safely, beautifully approaching. They wonderfully, peacefully trusted in the absolutely flawless, deeply reliable, incredibly beautiful mechanics of the vast, turning heavens, entirely, wonderfully certain that the warm, golden sun would beautifully, gently return to the quiet, waiting earth. This profound, deep, absolute trust in the wonderful, gentle, completely reliable turning of the cosmic wheel brings an incredibly deep, profound sense of wonderful, total peace to the anxious, heavy mind. There is absolutely no need to ever hold on to the day, nor completely fear the deep, quiet darkness, for the beautiful, gentle cycle is entirely, wonderfully flawless and absolutely, deeply secure. Resting completely in this profound, beautiful certainty wonderfully allows you to gently, completely release all control, softly, beautifully surrendering to the deep, comforting, absolutely profound embrace of true sleep. Somewhere deeply, wonderfully hidden within the soft, dark edges of the encroaching, beautiful jungle, the incredibly faint, beautifully haunting, deeply soothing melody of a wonderful, small clay flute gently, softly rises. The ancient, beautiful Maya crafted these tiny, delicate, wonderful instruments to beautifully, perfectly mimic the gentle, soft, melodic calls of the quiet, peaceful night birds. The incredibly soft, slow, beautifully lingering notes softly, gently float on the warm, humid night air, beautifully wrapping around the grand, ancient stone columns and slowly, peacefully fading completely into the vast, starlit sky. This beautiful, simple, incredibly pure music is entirely, wonderfully devoid of absolutely any rush or complex urgency. It simply, beautifully exists to softly honor the profound, deep, wonderful stillness of the magnificent quiet night. Following the gentle, slow, incredibly beautiful trail of these soft, floating notes gently, perfectly leads your heavy, tired mind down a deeply peaceful, wonderfully quiet path directly into beautiful, absolutely deep slumber. Deeply, wonderfully tucked within the incredibly intricate, beautifully carved stone crevices of the magnificent Temple of the Warriors. Incredibly small, gentle, beautiful nocturnal creatures have softly, peacefully made their quiet homes. Tiny, soft, beautifully harmless geckos rest completely, perfectly still against the cool, ancient limestone. Their small, gentle breaths beautifully, perfectly matching the deep, slow rhythm of the silent, magnificent city. The incredibly profound, beautiful stillness of these tiny, wonderful, quiet creatures is remarkably deeply soothing. They completely, beautifully trust in the solid, absolute strength of the ancient, towering stone walls to wonderfully, perfectly protect them throughout the entire quiet night. Imagining these wonderfully small, deeply peaceful, entirely safe beings, softly resting in their perfectly secure, beautiful stone niches, provides a wonderful, deep sensation of complete, absolute coziness and deeply profound, wonderful shelter. You too are wonderfully, completely safe, beautifully nestled in your own warm, soft, deeply comfortable space, entirely wonderfully ready for absolute profound rest. If you were to gently, softly lay down upon the incredibly smooth, wonderfully cool limestone of the vast, quiet central plaza, you might beautifully, completely imagine feeling the incredibly slow, profound, magnificent turning of the deep earth itself. The incredibly massive, heavy, beautifully solid stone structures softly, deeply ground you, wonderfully anchoring your tired, heavy body directly to the magnificent, vast, incredibly peaceful planet. This wonderful, profound sense of deep, absolute, incredibly beautiful groundedness completely, gently draws all the nervous, busy, fluttering energy completely out of your heavy resting mind, smoothly pulling it deep into the quiet, ancient, beautifully silent bedrock. It is a wonderfully heavy, deeply comforting, incredibly beautiful sensation, as if the gentle, ancient city is wonderfully, softly holding you safely, beautifully down, gently preventing you from drifting into anxious thoughts, and instead beautifully, softly locking you perfectly, safely into a state of profound, absolute, incredibly deep, and wonderfully peaceful, beautiful relaxation. The incredibly gentle, beautiful ancient people of this magnificent city softly, wonderfully tended to small, completely stingless bees, carefully, beautifully harvesting their incredibly sweet, wonderful, deeply golden wild honey. This beautiful, thick, incredibly rich nectar was wonderfully considered a profound, gentle, sacred gift from the deeply benevolent, quiet gods, a beautiful, concentrated, wonderfully sweet drop of the warm, life-giving sun. Even now, simply imagining the incredibly soft, subtle, beautifully sweet floral scent of this wild, wonderful honey gently resting in a small, smooth, beautifully rounded clay jar brings a profound, deep, incredibly wonderful feeling of absolute sweet comfort. The wonderfully slow, incredibly thick, beautiful viscosity of the imaginary golden honey beautifully mirrors the incredibly slow, deeply heavy, wonderful feeling completely washing over your incredibly tired, beautifully resting muscles. Everything within you is beautifully, gently slowing down, wonderfully becoming incredibly sweet, profoundly calm, absolutely heavy, and perfectly, completely ready for deep, wonderful, incredibly peaceful sleep. The incredibly majestic, beautiful, towering geometry of the grand, ancient pyramids provides a wonderfully deep, profound, beautifully soothing visual anchor for the highly tired, restless mind. The incredibly perfectly straight, beautiful lines and the gentle, beautifully even, perfectly spaced terraces softly, wonderfully draw the heavy, tired eye gently upward, step by beautiful step, in a completely, perfectly ordered, wonderfully predictable, and absolutely calming progression. There is entirely, Wonderfully, absolutely no visual chaos here. Absolutely no beautiful, confusing asymmetry to gently worry the deeply seeking mind. Only the profound, deep, absolute, beautifully comforting reliability of magnificent, ancient, perfect mathematics, brilliantly woven beautifully into strong, quiet stone. Following these smooth, beautiful, perfectly parallel lines gently upward toward the incredibly vast, soft, deep indigo starry sky wonderfully, completely organizes your own beautifully scattering. Busy thoughts gently bringing them into perfectly calm, deeply wonderful, absolutely beautiful, and entirely, profoundly peaceful, quiet, completely deep alignment, perfectly ready for magnificent sleep. Let us beautifully, softly imagine a single, incredibly wise, perfectly quiet, ancient astronomer sitting wonderfully, peacefully still upon the incredibly smooth, vast stone platform of the beautiful Caracol Observatory. The deep, warm, beautiful night air is perfectly, wonderfully, entirely calm, and the incredibly vast, magnificent cosmos is brilliantly, beautifully displayed above like a glowing, infinite, deeply mesmerizing map of gentle light. This quiet, gentle person does not frantically, wonderfully search. They simply, beautifully, deeply wait, allowing the incredibly slow, majestic, wonderful movements of the gentle stars to naturally, softly reveal themselves in their own perfect, beautiful time. Adopting this profoundly peaceful, incredibly, deeply patient, wonderfully calm mindset completely, gently transforms your own beautiful resting experience. You are entirely, beautifully, absolutely no longer trying to forcefully, wonderfully grasp at elusive sleep. You are simply, deeply, peacefully waiting, wonderfully, softly watching the quiet, beautiful darkness behind your deeply closed, heavy eyelids, absolutely, entirely trusting that profound rest will gently arrive. As the deep, quiet, incredibly beautiful night completely matures, gentle, soft, glowing swarms of beautiful, tiny bioluminescent fireflies slowly, peacefully begin to wonderful gather near the completely still, dark edges of the vast sacred cenote. They softly, beautifully pulse with a cool, wonderful, incredibly gentle green and soft blue light, wonderfully, perfectly synchronizing their tiny, beautiful flashes in a completely mesmerizing, deeply hypnotic, wonderful visual rhythm. This incredibly soft, beautiful, gently pulsing glow beautifully, wonderfully reflects on the incredibly smooth, completely still surface of the deep, dark water, beautifully creating an absolutely magical, completely enchanting, deeply peaceful atmosphere of quiet wonder. Watching this slow, incredibly gentle, beautiful, synchronized pulsing in your quiet, heavy imagination is remarkably, deeply soothing, acting exactly like a beautiful, incredibly slow, wonderfully visual metronome softly, gently guiding your incredibly tired, heavy brainwaves down into a profoundly deep, completely calm, absolutely wonderful, and deeply perfectly restorative state of magnificent, heavy, perfect sleep. Just completely, wonderfully beyond the grand, ancient stone walls, standing perfectly, beautifully tall on the absolute edge of the dense, quiet, vast green jungle, are incredibly graceful, wonderfully slender, tall palm trees. Their incredibly long, beautiful, feathery fronds softly, wonderfully catch even the very lightest, absolutely most gentle breath of the cool, deep night wind. They softly, beautifully sway back and incredibly gently forth in a perfectly, deeply mesmerizing, wonderfully slow, beautiful, rhythmic, and incredibly continuous, quiet dance against the deeply glowing, vast silver starlit sky. This completely, wonderfully effortless, incredibly smooth, deeply sweeping motion is profoundly, incredibly relaxing to completely. Gently visualize, smoothly mirroring the soft, beautiful, perfectly gentle rising and absolutely calm, deep falling of your own deeply resting, heavily sleeping chest. The gentle palms wonderfully, completely surrender absolutely entirely to the soft, beautiful breeze, deeply, perfectly reminding you to wonderfully, completely let go, beautifully yielding softly to the deep, heavy, pulling currents of deep sleep. In the quiet, incredibly warm, beautiful evening shadows of these magnificent, tall, deeply peaceful ancient monuments, completely wise, wonderful elders would softly, beautifully gather the gentle, quiet community to share incredibly ancient, deeply wonderful, magnificent stories. These beautiful, slow, deeply rhythmic tales were wonderfully, completely woven with soft, beautiful magic, ancient gods, and the gentle, profoundly quiet, incredibly beautiful creation of the vast starlit universe. The incredibly soft, steady, beautifully comforting cadence of the storyteller's deep, quiet voice would wonderfully, beautifully wash completely over the absolutely still, heavily listening crowd, naturally deeply lulling the tired, beautiful young children smoothly, gently into deep, incredibly peaceful, profound sleep. Even though the specific, wonderful words are completely, quietly lost to time, you can beautifully, completely feel the incredibly warm, deeply soothing, wonderful essence of this beautifully ancient, perfectly comforting, deeply familiar ritual, softly, gently wrapping entirely around your mind, wonderfully preparing you for a beautifully deep, profound, safe night. The incredibly skilled, wonderful ancient potters of this beautiful, deeply quiet city, crafted incredibly magnificent, beautifully round, wonderfully perfect clay vessels strictly by hand, using utterly, absolutely no modern wheel. They wonderfully, patiently, incredibly softly smoothed the wet, deeply earthy clay with incredibly small, perfect, round, polished stones, taking entirely countless beautiful hours to perfectly, wonderfully achieve an absolutely flawless, deeply satisfying, wonderful, cool, perfectly even surface. Imagining the incredibly wonderful, profoundly soft, perfectly smooth feeling of that cool, incredibly beautifully polished, wonderful earth directly beneath your quiet fingertips is amazingly, profoundly, deeply grounding and wonderfully, incredibly calming. It is a wonderfully tactile, incredibly beautiful, completely soothing meditation on deep, absolute patience and profound, perfect, gentle, soft care. Let the wonderful, imaginary, perfectly smooth, cool texture of the beautiful clay entirely, wonderfully erase absolutely all the sharp, jagged, busy worries of your heavy day, softly leaving your deep mind perfectly, wonderfully, beautifully clear, calm and resting. The incredibly vast, absolutely monumental walls of the beautifully grand, perfectly silent, great ball court softly, wonderfully rise up in absolute, perfect, deeply satisfying, entirely beautiful, complete, absolute symmetry. This incredibly profound, deeply wonderful, perfect architectural balance is remarkably, entirely soothing to the highly tired, deeply searching, heavily resting human mind, which naturally, beautifully, wonderfully craves deep, absolute, incredibly predictable, perfect order. Standing quietly, beautifully in the absolute, exact, complete center of this incredibly vast, beautifully long, absolutely silent stone corridor, you can deeply, wonderfully feel the perfectly equal, beautiful weight of the ancient, towering structures gently, softly resting on absolutely either side of you. This deep, wonderful, absolute physical equilibrium beautifully, completely, gently translates directly into profound, wonderful, absolute internal, deep, beautiful mental peace. Your highly active, gently bouncing thoughts completely, wonderfully stop their frantic, busy motion perfectly, deeply coming to absolute, wonderful rest in the quiet, perfectly, deeply centered, beautiful middle of your heavily sleeping consciousness, as the deep, incredibly quiet, beautifully still night gently, softly deepens its profound hold on the ancient, magnificent sleeping city. Any fine, completely pale, soft limestone dust that was gently, wonderfully stirred up by the warm daytime breezes completely, beautifully, and perfectly settles. It softly, gently drifts incredibly slowly, beautifully downward, coming to absolute, complete, profound rest upon the cool, wonderful, completely smooth, incredibly ancient white stone pathways. This incredibly gentle, perfectly silent, deeply wonderful settling of fine, soft dust is a beautiful, profound, wonderfully visual metaphor for your own busy, heavily active, gently swirling thoughts completely coming to an absolute, deep, and wonderfully profound, perfect stop. Absolutely everything that was once highly, beautifully active, and incredibly gently floating in your busy mind is now completely, wonderfully, perfectly resting quietly on the cool, completely still, incredibly beautiful ground, beautifully leaving the vast open space of your deep, clear mind, perfectly, absolutely, wonderfully empty, profoundly still, and perfectly calm. The deep, wonderfully warm, beautifully humid air of the quiet, tropical, vast jungle night wraps entirely, completely around you like an incredibly soft, deeply magnificent, wonderfully heavy, incredibly warm, absolutely beautiful, perfect velvet blanket. It completely wonderfully holds the gentle, beautiful warmth of the incredibly long, perfect day, softly, perfectly radiating that deep, comforting energy directly into your highly tired, heavily resting muscles. This incredibly beautiful, rich, deeply soothing, profoundly humid atmosphere completely, beautifully softens every single sharp, bright edge and perfectly, wonderfully muffles every tiny, small, distant, soft sound, creating a wonderfully perfect, absolutely beautiful, highly profound cocoon of total, complete, magnificent isolation from the busy waking world. You are completely, wonderfully, safely, beautifully, completely sealed within this deep, wonderful, warm, heavy, perfectly soft, completely comforting embrace, gently, wonderfully allowing you to completely, softly, profoundly sink incredibly deeply into your soft, perfectly comforting bed without absolutely any resistance, gently drifting away. On the absolute, dark, beautiful edges of the magnificent, sprawling stone ruins, incredibly large, beautifully dark, perfectly green, sweeping elephant ear plants completely, wonderfully gather the soft, cool, gentle midnight dew, as the deep, heavy, wonderful moisture slowly, beautifully accumulates on the completely smooth, incredibly vast, wide leaves. A single, absolutely perfect, deeply heavy, beautiful drop of pure, clear water slowly, gently forms. It perfectly, wonderfully gathers its beautiful, soft weight until it gracefully, incredibly quietly, beautifully falls, landing completely softly onto the rich, dark, damp, wonderful earth with a gentle, incredibly quiet, absolutely beautiful tiny tap. This deeply wonderful, incredibly slow, absolutely perfectly steady, wonderfully rhythmic dripping is profoundly, completely hypnotic, offering a wonderful, beautiful, highly natural, perfectly slow lullaby. Each single beautiful gentle drop completely, wonderfully represents a single heavy thought completely, softly falling away from your tired, quiet mind, completely leaving you feeling wonderfully lighter, perfectly calm, absolutely empty, and profoundly ready to deeply sleep. High above the beautifully sleeping, incredibly magnificent, profoundly quiet ancient city, soft, incredibly thin, wonderfully delicate, wispy clouds very slowly, completely silently drift across the perfectly full, deeply bright, magnificent silver moon. As these beautiful, delicate, soft veils pass gently, wonderfully in front of the bright, beautiful light, they completely, beautifully create incredibly slow, completely gentle, wonderfully shifting patterns of extremely soft, perfectly faded shadows upon the vast open, completely smooth plazas perfectly below. The incredibly bright, wonderful moonlight gently, softly dims into a deeply comforting, wonderfully muffled, entirely soothing, beautiful gray, perfectly, wonderfully softening the vast, completely ancient landscape into a beautiful, dreamy, incredibly wonderful blur. This incredibly slow, perfectly gentle dimming of the beautiful, bright cosmic light deeply, completely, wonderfully mimics the heavy, beautiful closing of your own incredibly tired, resting eyelids, gently, wonderfully drawing a soft, beautiful, perfectly dim curtain entirely over your completely relaxed, profoundly quiet, beautiful, softly sleeping consciousness. Carved beautifully, incredibly deeply into the grand, imposing, magnificent stone walls of the vast open courtyards are completely magnificent, incredibly powerful, beautifully stylized, completely serene jaguars. In the bright, busy, incredibly loud day, they look incredibly strong and completely profoundly fierce, but now, in the very deep, soft, beautifully quiet, incredibly still night, they wonderfully, perfectly appear to be completely, profoundly, incredibly asleep. Their magnificent, wide, beautifully carved stone eyes seem wonderfully, completely heavy, beautifully resting deeply, entirely under the soft, gentle, cooling, wonderful wash of the pure silver starlight. Knowing that even these magnificent, deeply powerful, incredibly wonderful guardians of the ancient, completely beautiful city eventually, entirely must absolutely surrender to the profound, gentle, deep necessity of quiet, absolute rest is remarkably, deeply, completely comforting. If the incredibly grand, completely mighty, wonderful stone jaguars can safely, beautifully close their heavy, tired eyes, then you too are absolutely, entirely, completely safe to wonderfully, perfectly, deeply sleep. As you gently, beautifully, entirely stand within the complete, absolutely exact, incredibly profound, wonderful center of this incredibly ancient, absolutely vast, perfectly sleeping, magnificent city, an incredibly deep, perfectly profound, absolutely timeless stillness completely, wonderfully washes entirely over you. The grand, magnificent, incredibly towering stone pyramids, the perfectly deep, vast, utterly silent cenotes, and the boundless, incredibly dense, perfectly wonderful, quiet jungle completely merge into one absolutely single, profoundly beautiful, incredibly unified, completely perfect landscape of total, absolute peace. The busy, frantic, entirely exhausting, wonderful waking world is incredibly, completely far away, absolutely, completely replaced by this incredibly pure, wonderfully gentle, perfectly ancient, absolutely deep sanctuary of complete, wonderful rest. You are entirely, completely, beautifully, completely immersed in a deep, profound, absolutely wonderful ocean of perfect tranquility, totally, completely ready to finally, beautifully surrender to the soft, incredibly gentle, deeply wonderful, absolutely comforting waves of profound, completely perfect, deep, entirely wonderful, heavy slumber. As the deep, velvety night reaches its quietest hours, the massive limestone blocks of the ancient pyramids continue to gently radiate the sun's gathered warmth. Throughout the long, bright, tropical day, these sturdy, pale stones acted like magnificent, silent sponges, perfectly absorbing the brilliant golden heat. Now, in the cooling, tranquil darkness, they softly release that beautiful, comforting energy back into the still air. If you were to rest your palm against the smooth, ancient surface, you would feel a wonderfully deep, resonant warmth, a profound echo of the day safely stored within the earth. This incredibly gentle, radiant heat is remarkably soothing, feeling like a heavy, perfectly weighted blanket draped over your tired shoulders. It is a wonderful, enduring comfort that slowly melts away the lingering chills of anxiety, perfectly wrapping your deeply resting body in a secure, ancient embrace that gently coaxes your heavy mind into an absolutely peaceful, profound, and uninterrupted state of sweet, restorative sleep. Beneath the perfectly still, mirrored surface of the Sacred Cenote lies a vast, beautifully unexplored world of absolute, profound silence. While the lush, encroaching jungle above whispers softly in the gentle night breeze, the deep, ancient water remains completely, entirely undisturbed by the passage of time or the gentle turning of the weather. This deep, aquatic sanctuary holds an incredible, heavy stillness, a pure, absolute quiet that is wonderfully rare in our busy waking lives. Imagining yourself slowly, safely sinking into this beautiful, weightless environment brings a remarkable, deep sense of total sensory relief. The heavy, dark water softly muffles all sound, wonderfully washing away the loud, jagged noises of the busy day. You are left floating perfectly, peacefully in a completely serene, suspended state of absolute calm, entirely supported by the gentle, deep coolness, allowing your heavily resting consciousness to completely dissolve into the vast, beautiful, tranquil, and incredibly peaceful depths of absolute, perfect, wonderful nothingness. The grand, wide expanses of the beautifully smooth central plazas offer a wonderful, profound sensation of complete, uncluttered space. In our busy daily lives, our minds are so often crowded with completely overwhelming tasks, dense schedules, and highly complicated thoughts, leaving incredibly little room to simply, beautifully breathe. Here, beneath the vast, glowing canopy of the deep, starlit sky, there are absolutely no walls to gently confine your wandering thoughts, completely no narrow corridors to restrict your profound, peaceful, resting energy. This immense, beautiful emptiness is incredibly, wonderfully liberating. It provides a magnificent, deeply soothing, wide-open canvas for your tired, heavy mind to finally, completely stretch out, beautifully unfurl, and perfectly gently let go of its tightly wound tension. Visualizing this incredibly vast, perfectly clear, moonlit space naturally, wonderfully encourages your own internal landscape to beautifully expand, smoothly transforming a crowded, busy mind into a deeply serene, completely peaceful, and wonderfully infinite horizon of absolute, perfect rest. High above the majestic, sleeping stone city, incredibly soft, gentle, beautifully wispy silver clouds slowly drift across the magnificent deep indigo canvas of the night sky. They move with an incredibly slow, entirely unhurried, perfectly majestic grace, beautifully pushed by high, unseen, profoundly gentle atmospheric currents. These beautiful, delicate clouds do not violently block the bright, shimmering starlight. Instead, they wonderfully, perfectly soften it, creating deeply mesmerizing, incredibly slow-moving, gentle shadows that softly dance across the pale, ancient limestone below. Watching their profoundly slow, wonderfully silent journey across the vast cosmos is incredibly, deeply hypnotic. They beautifully, perfectly represent the gentle, fleeting nature of our own passing thoughts. Just as the soft clouds effortlessly, completely glide out of sight without leaving a single permanent trace, you can wonderfully allow your own busy, heavy thoughts to simply, beautifully drift away into the vast, quiet darkness, leaving your perfectly calm mind wonderfully clear, incredibly still, and deeply, profoundly asleep. The incredibly smooth, completely straight, pale limestone roads, known beautifully as the White Ways, gently radiate outward from the grand, central heart of the perfectly sleeping city. Long ago, these beautifully elevated pathways wonderfully connected bustling, vibrant neighborhoods and distant, peaceful settlements. Now they softly, beautifully disappear into the incredibly dense, wonderfully dark, incredibly quiet edges of the magnificent, fragrant jungle. Following one of these beautiful, glowing white roads in your quiet imagination provides a profound, deeply soothing sense of a wonderful, peaceful journey that has absolutely no forced, demanding destination. You are simply, beautifully walking softly, gently forward into the comfortable, wonderful unknown, completely safe, incredibly deeply protected, and absolutely perfectly calm. The gentle, glowing path smoothly, wonderfully guides you away from the complex, rigid structures of your waking life, gently leading your heavy, tired spirit directly into the vast, beautiful, completely unstructured, incredibly peaceful and profoundly comforting, wonderfully wild, deep landscape of your own beautiful dreams. Deeply etched into the magnificent, sturdy walls of the quiet, beautiful ball court are incredibly complex, wonderfully intricate, deeply intertwining stone carvings. These beautiful ancient reliefs form a mesmerizing, profoundly gentle, completely endless, wonderful visual maze of slow, sweeping curves, beautiful geometric angles, and completely stylized, wonderful natural forms. In the incredibly soft, diffused, beautiful light of the silver moon, tracing these complicated, perfectly smooth patterns with your heavy, tired eyes becomes an incredibly relaxing, deeply wonderful, highly focused meditation. The beautiful, ancient lines smoothly, wonderfully loop and gently, beautifully cross back over themselves in a completely perfect, wonderfully balanced, incredibly soothing, complete harmony. This deep, ancient, beautiful complexity beautifully gently captivates the restless, seeking part of your busy brain, perfectly wonderfully giving it a completely safe, perfectly contained, incredibly soothing puzzle to gently follow. It smoothly, perfectly exhausts your lingering, waking energy, naturally, beautifully drawing you deep into a profound, incredibly soft and wonderfully heavy state of rest. Deep within the completely hidden, wonderfully dark, incredibly silent limestone caves that rest perfectly beneath the grand, ancient city, beautiful, mineral-rich water incredibly slowly, perfectly seeps through the porous, wonderful rock. After entirely countless, beautifully quiet hours, a single, incredibly pure, perfect drop of water softly, wonderfully forms on the delicate tip of a grand, ancient stalactite. It gently, beautifully gathers weight with profound, absolute, wonderful patience before finally, completely silently falling into a perfectly still, completely dark, wonderfully cool underground pool. This incredibly slow, absolutely steady, deeply rhythmic dripping is the true, wonderful, incredibly ancient heartbeat of the magnificent hidden earth. Visualizing this completely unseen, beautifully perfect, incredibly slow process brings a wonderful, profound sensation of absolute, deep, completely unhurried, beautiful time. There is completely, absolutely no rush here, only the soft, magnificent, perfect, incredibly gentle rhythm of ancient nature, softly, beautifully telling your deeply tired mind that it is completely, wonderfully safe to completely, beautifully, perfectly slow down. If you look very softly and beautifully closely at the gently sloping, magnificent edges of the grand ancient pyramids, you will wonderfully see where time and completely soft, gentle weather have beautifully, smoothly worn away the originally sharp, perfectly crisp corners. This incredibly slow, beautiful, profoundly gentle process of softening is remarkably, wonderfully comforting to the heavy, tired mind. It is a deeply beautiful, perfect reminder that absolutely nothing in this vast, wonderful universe is meant to remain entirely rigid, completely harsh, or perfectly, incredibly tense forever. The ancient, strong stone beautifully, gracefully yields to the soft, gentle rain and the warm, incredibly light, beautiful wind, wonderfully finding a completely new, deeply beautiful, softly rounded, and incredibly perfect shape. You too can completely beautifully allow the incredibly rigid, highly stressed, busy edges of your long day to perfectly, gently soften, beautifully melting completely away into a profound, deep, incredibly comfortable, and wonderfully relaxed state of absolute, perfect, quiet sleep. As the deep, beautifully dark, perfectly quiet night completely settles over the magnificent ancient stone ruins, the incredibly lush, dense, wonderful surrounding jungle gently, softly tunes its own beautiful, nocturnal orchestra. This is not a loud, chaotic, perfectly startling noise, but a wonderfully rich, deeply harmonious, incredibly continuous, perfectly soothing symphony of absolute, beautiful, quiet, natural life. The incredibly soft, rhythmic, beautiful chirping of crickets smoothly, wonderfully blends with the deep, resonant, perfectly calm, gentle croaking of tree frogs, beautifully creating a wonderful, continuous, incredibly soft wall of highly comforting, absolutely perfect sound. This deeply beautiful, organic, perfectly ancient white noise, wonderfully, completely blankets the sleeping, silent city, effectively, beautifully masking absolutely any sudden, jarring sounds from the outside, busy world. Immersing your tired, heavy mind completely in this rich, wonderful, perfectly steady, beautifully natural chorus provides a profound, deep sense of wonderful total security, completely wrapping you in a deeply comforting, perfectly safe, and incredibly peaceful acoustic cocoon. Standing quietly at the very summit of the magnificent, towering pyramid, you can beautifully, wonderfully feel the incredibly gentle, perfectly cool night breeze softly, continuously sweeping across the incredibly vast, perfectly flat, ancient landscape. This beautiful soft air has gently traveled over countless miles of deep, quiet, completely unblemished, wonderful emerald jungle, beautifully carrying the incredibly fresh, perfectly clean, deeply wonderful scent of absolute pure wild nature. As this wonderfully cool, perfectly gentle breeze softly brushes against your tired, heavy face, it beautifully, completely whisks away the lingering heavy heat and completely, wonderfully stagnant energy of your long, active day. It is an incredibly refreshing, profoundly beautiful, highly soothing, perfect physical sensation that gently, beautifully, perfectly signals to your heavy body that the incredibly bright, busy time of work is completely, entirely over. You are beautifully left feeling completely, wonderfully cleansed, entirely refreshed, perfectly calm, and completely, absolutely ready to beautifully, gently sink into profound, deep, completely restful sleep. When you lie softly, beautifully upon the incredibly smooth, perfectly flat, ancient limestone of the grand, silent Central Plaza, and gently, wonderfully gaze directly upward, the incredibly vast, perfectly clear night sky completely, absolutely overwhelms the beautiful senses in the most deeply comforting, completely relaxing, wonderful way imaginable. Without the harsh, perfectly glaring, incredibly bright lights of modern busy cities, the ancient, wonderful cosmos beautifully, perfectly reveals its incredibly deep, true, breathtaking, and completely infinite majesty. Millions of completely soft, gently twinkling, beautiful stars wonderfully blanket the incredibly deep, perfectly dark indigo, completely endless void, beautifully stretching entirely beyond the very limits of your quiet, heavy imagination. This profound, deep, absolutely beautiful exposure to the completely infinite, wonderful universe wonderfully, completely puts all earthly heavy worries into a perfectly beautiful, deeply soothing, wonderful perspective. Your mind completely, wonderfully expands into this vast, perfectly peaceful, absolutely silent, incredibly beautiful space, completely, gently leaving absolutely all small, trivial, busy concerns entirely, wonderfully behind. Hidden wonderfully deep within the quiet, dense, encroaching edges of the beautiful, ancient forest, perfectly delicate, incredibly rare night-blooming flowers slowly, beautifully open their incredibly soft, pale petals to the cool, gentle silver moonlight. These completely wonderful, deeply shy blossoms beautifully release an incredibly sweet, perfectly intoxicating, wonderfully heavy floral fragrance that softly, gently drifts on the incredibly slow, completely calm, perfectly humid night breeze. This beautiful, invisible, wonderfully fragrant, deeply soothing mist gently, perfectly rolls across the ancient, magnificent, sleeping stone city, beautifully enveloping absolutely everything in a profoundly deep, incredibly sweet, perfectly calming, wonderful perfume. Breathing in this beautiful, natural, perfectly gentle aromatherapy completely, wonderfully relaxes the tight, tired muscles of your heavy chest, naturally, beautifully deepening your slow, perfect, quiet respiration. The wonderful, sweet, perfectly floral scent beautifully, completely acts as a gentle, completely natural, incredibly profound sedative, smoothly, perfectly coaxing your heavy, tired mind down into a beautiful, incredibly deep, and absolutely restorative, wonderful slumber. As the beautiful, bright, perfectly full, incredibly majestic silver moon smoothly, wonderfully travels across the vast, deep, perfectly quiet night sky, the incredibly massive, beautifully sprawling canopy of the grand, ancient ceiba trees casts completely long, wonderfully deep, perfectly shifting shadows across the quiet, completely pale stone ruins. These beautiful, intricate, completely dark silhouettes softly, gently move with incredibly slow, completely imperceptible, absolutely perfect grace, beautifully painting the ancient sleeping city with a profoundly calming, incredibly wonderful, completely hypnotic, gentle contrast of soft light and beautifully deep, comforting darkness. Watching these entirely slow, perfectly silent, incredibly gentle shadow plays is remarkably wonderfully soothing, gently acting like a beautiful, natural, incredibly perfect, completely slow visual pendulum. Your heavy, tired eyes completely wonderfully want to softly, gently follow the beautiful, dark, creeping slow edges, perfectly naturally drawing your busy, active focus completely away from racing, heavy thoughts, and smoothly, beautifully downward into a profound, absolutely deep, completely perfectly relaxed, and wonderful silent trance. The incredibly steep, perfectly straight, beautifully ancient stone stairs of the magnificent, towering pyramids were not wonderfully designed for quick, completely frantic, busy rushing. They completely, perfectly demand an incredibly slow, entirely deliberate, wonderfully careful, beautifully measured, and absolutely mindful, profound ascent. Imagining yourself gently, slowly climbing these perfectly grand, completely solid, incredibly ancient steps brings a wonderful, deep sensation of absolute, perfect, completely focused calm. With every single beautifully slow, perfectly heavy step, you gently, wonderfully leave another small piece of your long, completely busy day far beautifully behind you. Your wonderful, quiet breathing completely, naturally synchronizes perfectly with this incredibly slow, beautifully steady, perfectly rhythmic, wonderful upward motion. By the beautiful quiet time you perfectly reach the incredibly vast, entirely open, wonderfully starlit, completely peaceful summit in your heavy, quiet mind. You are completely, wonderfully, perfectly separated from the loud, heavy earth below, absolutely, entirely ready to peacefully, wonderfully drift into the vast, beautiful, perfectly calm heavens. Just wonderfully below the incredibly smooth, perfectly ancient, beautifully flat limestone surface of the grand, sleeping city, the incredibly massive, deeply powerful, wonderfully thick roots of the surrounding ancient jungle trees completely, perfectly grip the solid, deep earth. These beautiful, hidden, incredibly profound anchors are completely, entirely unseen, yet they beautifully, wonderfully provide absolute, perfect, deep stability for the towering, magnificent, incredibly gentle, soft canopies far, beautifully above. Visualizing this completely deep, entirely powerful, wonderfully secure, completely hidden network of strong, perfect roots provides an incredibly profound, deeply wonderful sensation of absolute, total, perfect groundedness for your highly tired, heavy, completely resting body. You can wonderfully, completely feel your own heavy, resting energy softly, beautifully sinking deep, perfectly down into the wonderfully warm, absolutely supportive, incredibly strong mattress, completely, wonderfully tethering you safely, perfectly, and absolutely securely to the deep, calming, wonderful earth, completely allowing you to absolutely, safely, wonderfully let go and deeply, perfectly, beautifully sleep. If you listen incredibly closely, beautifully, and perfectly softly, in the very deepest, most profound, absolute silence of the beautiful night. You can almost wonderfully imagine hearing the incredibly soft, completely gentle, perfect echo of ancient, completely peaceful footsteps. These are not loud, frantic, heavy sounds of war or completely busy panic, but the wonderful, slow, perfectly measured, beautifully rhythmic, incredibly gentle tread of completely wise, ancient astronomers and deeply peaceful, wonderful priests, softly walking their quiet, perfect, completely nightly rounds. This completely imaginary, wonderfully soft, incredibly rhythmic, beautifully gentle sound is profoundly, completely comforting, beautifully connecting you to a vast, wonderful, incredibly ancient lineage of deeply peaceful, perfect, quiet night watchers. You are completely, absolutely never entirely alone in the beautiful, soft, perfectly comforting dark. You are simply beautifully joining a completely wonderful, ancient, perfect, incredibly slow parade of deeply resting, perfectly peaceful souls, gently, beautifully walking completely together toward the profound, deep, absolutely perfect, wonderful sanctuary of beautiful restorative sleep. In the deeply quiet, perfectly still, beautiful darkness of the ancient, hidden, wonderfully perfect temple chambers. Incredibly precious, completely beautiful, utterly smooth, perfectly polished jade artifacts completely, gently rest in absolute, perfect, wonderful silence. The ancient, brilliant, wonderful artisans spent entirely countless, beautiful, perfectly quiet hours lovingly, gently rubbing the hard, completely wonderful green stone with fine, soft sand and pure, perfect water until it completely, wonderfully became entirely, absolutely as smooth as perfectly resting, completely quiet glass. Imagining the incredibly wonderful, perfectly cool, absolutely flawless, beautifully heavy touch of this pure, magnificent, completely ancient jade resting gently, softly against your highly tired, beautifully heavy forehead, brings an immediate, profound, deeply wonderful sensation of absolute, perfect, total cooling relief. The completely beautiful, utterly smooth, perfectly flawless texture wonderfully, completely, perfectly transfers its deep, profound, absolute calm entirely into your busy, heavy mind, beautifully smoothly erasing all complex, wrinkled, busy thoughts, completely leaving your wonderful consciousness perfectly, beautifully, entirely serene and perfectly, completely still. The incredibly profound, completely magnificent ancient Maya calendar does not beautifully, wonderfully end in sudden, complete, terrifying destruction, but simply, gently, perfectly turns over, wonderfully beginning a completely new, absolutely vast, beautiful, perfect cycle of profound, deep time. This incredibly beautiful, entirely comforting, wonderfully circular view of existence completely, perfectly removes absolutely all frantic, heavy, busy pressure from the present, completely passing moment. There is absolutely, completely no wonderful need to violently rush, incredibly forcefully achieve, or perfectly finish completely everything before the quiet, beautiful sun gently, softly rises. The universe is incredibly, beautifully patient, wonderfully turning its vast, perfect, completely silent, absolutely massive gears with infinite, deep, profound, incredibly beautiful slowness. Embracing this incredibly vast, perfectly relaxed, wonderfully ancient perspective completely, beautifully allows your highly tense, heavy shoulders to completely, wonderfully drop, perfectly releasing absolutely all your completely unnecessary heavy burdens and wonderfully peacefully surrendering completely to the deep, long, absolutely perfect, wonderful, incredibly slow rhythm of deep, peaceful slumber. Seated perfectly, wonderfully still, upon the incredibly smooth, ancient, beautiful stone platforms are the completely magnificent, beautifully carved, perfectly solemn Chakmul figures. These wonderful, ancient stone guardians recline entirely gently, beautifully leaning incredibly back on their perfectly smooth elbows, gazing incredibly softly, beautifully, and completely calmly out across the incredibly vast, perfectly silent, wonderful open plazas. Their absolutely, perfectly profound, completely enduring physical stillness is remarkably, incredibly deeply hypnotic and entirely wonderfully, completely contagious. They have perfectly, wonderfully rested in this exact, incredibly relaxed, beautifully quiet, perfectly balanced, wonderful posture for entirely countless, beautiful, absolutely peaceful centuries, completely, wonderfully unbothered by absolutely anything in the changing, spinning world. absorbing their deep, profound, absolutely perfect, wonderful, monumental calm deeply, beautifully helps to completely, wonderfully still your own fidgeting, highly restless, tired body, beautifully, gently locking you perfectly into a deeply wonderful, absolutely profoundly comfortable, entirely perfectly relaxed, and beautifully motionless state of absolute, complete, profound, deep, and perfectly wonderful rest. As the deeply quiet, perfectly wonderful, completely profoundly beautiful night very slowly, gently progresses toward the completely silent, incredibly soft, very early hours of the morning, the incredibly brilliant, perfectly glowing, beautiful river of the Milky Way subtly, wonderfully shifts its grand, magnificent position. This incredibly vast, completely slow, beautifully silent, perfect cosmic rotation is absolutely, completely imperceptible to a quick, incredibly busy, wildly rushed glance, but wonderfully, profoundly obvious to the patient, deeply relaxed, completely still, perfect observer, watching the entire, vast, magnificent, beautiful galaxy completely, slowly, perfectly turn on its incredible silent axis, provides a wonderful, deep, perfectly profound sensation of being completely, beautifully cradled inside an incredibly massive, wonderfully perfect, completely safe, beautiful celestial clockwork. The deep, heavy, absolutely perfect, wonderful inevitability of this smooth, incredibly quiet, beautiful cosmic motion is profoundly, entirely soothing, completely, perfectly guiding your heavy, tired mind deep, wonderfully down into a perfectly matched, incredibly slow, beautiful, absolutely profound, and wonderfully endless, perfect state of deep sleep. The perfectly thick, incredibly strong, beautifully ancient stone walls of the magnificent, towering temples were completely, wonderfully designed to perfectly, entirely keep the intense, bright, sweltering heat of the busy, loud day completely, perfectly, beautifully outside. Even now, in the deep, wonderful, perfectly cool, absolutely silent night, entering one of these completely dark, beautifully intimate, perfectly small stone chambers feels entirely like stepping beautifully, directly into a profound, wonderful, absolutely safe, perfect fortress of complete, absolute solitude and profound peace. The massive, beautiful, thick limestone completely, perfectly absorbs any stray, wandering sounds, creating an incredibly deep, wonderfully perfect, beautifully heavy silence that is profoundly, entirely comforting to the completely overwhelmed, tired senses. In this beautifully small, completely perfectly dark, incredibly secure space, you are completely wonderfully hidden from the vast, demanding world, perfectly, entirely wrapped in a deeply comforting, wonderfully protective, completely silent, beautifully strong embrace that perfectly, wonderfully allows you to deeply, entirely, completely, profoundly rest. In a completely quiet, perfectly, beautifully hidden corner of the ancient, wonderful, incredibly peaceful city, we can softly, beautifully imagine the absolute, completely, perfectly glowing, final red embers of a small, gentle, wonderfully contained, deeply peaceful evening fire. The bright, energetic, perfectly dancing, beautiful yellow flames have entirely, completely, wonderfully died down, leaving absolutely only a soft, beautiful, perfectly steady, incredibly warm, wonderful ruby glow, softly pulsing in the deep, completely velvet dark. This beautiful, slow, perfectly gentle fading of light and high energy completely, wonderfully mirrors the beautiful, natural, perfect winding down of your own highly active, completely busy, incredibly tired mind. As you gently, beautifully watch the imaginary, completely soft, perfectly warm red light slowly, beautifully fade into the comforting, wonderful, absolutely cool gray ash, you can completely, wonderfully feel your own bright, waking consciousness perfectly, gently dimming, beautifully, entirely softening into a profoundly deep, perfectly calm, absolutely wonderful, completely relaxed state of complete, heavy, perfect sleepiness. Absolutely every single beautiful, perfectly placed stone in this magnificent, incredibly ancient, profoundly wonderful city was completely, perfectly laid with a deeply intentional, wonderfully profound sense of complete, perfect, beautiful cosmic harmony. The ancient, brilliant, wonderful architects completely, perfectly understood the absolute, deep, incredibly vital importance of perfect, wonderful, complete structural balance, ensuring that absolutely every towering, beautiful structure was perfectly, entirely in deep, wonderful proportion to the vast, open, completely peaceful space completely surrounding it. This incredible, profound, deeply wonderful physical equilibrium creates a perfectly beautiful, highly calming, completely soothing, wonderful energy that completely effortlessly permeates the entire, vast, quiet ancient site. Breathing in this wonderful, perfect, completely balanced, incredibly beautiful atmosphere naturally, wonderfully brings your own highly scattered, completely busy thoughts into perfectly aligned, absolute, complete, profound order, smoothly, gently paving a perfectly clear, incredibly beautiful, completely calm, profoundly peaceful, wonderful internal pathway directly, entirely into the deep, welcoming, perfectly absolute, wonderful sanctuary of completely restorative, profound sleep. The magnificent, incredibly perfectly round, beautifully full silver moon acts completely, wonderfully as a perfectly silent, incredibly gentle, completely benevolent, beautiful cosmic observer, softly, entirely washing the ancient, magnificent stone city in a profoundly deep, incredibly soothing, perfectly pure, beautiful pale light. It completely, entirely asks absolutely nothing of the quiet, sleeping ruins below. It simply, beautifully, wonderfully exists to softly, perfectly illuminate the deep, profound, wonderful tranquility of the heavy, dark, absolutely peaceful night. Adopting this completely perfectly detached, incredibly gentle, wonderfully observant, deeply peaceful lunar perspective is remarkably, profoundly, entirely completely relaxing. You do not need to beautifully, completely interact with, or forcefully change absolutely any of your passing quiet thoughts. You simply perfectly, wonderfully watch them gently, beautifully drift past your deeply heavy, completely quiet mind. Softly, beautifully bathed in the cool, wonderful, perfect, absolutely calm light of complete, profound, absolutely detached, perfectly beautiful acceptance, wonderfully, peacefully drifting entirely into deep, perfect, magnificent slumber. As our deeply wonderful, incredibly peaceful, beautifully calming, completely quiet, perfect nighttime journey through the magnificent sleeping ancient city of Chichen Itza softly, gently draws to a completely beautiful, perfectly profound close, a deep, heavy, absolutely wonderful stillness completely, entirely claims the vast ancient landscape. The incredibly towering perfect stone pyramids, the lush, deep, beautifully quiet jungle, and the vast, perfectly shimmering, endless sea of beautiful, calm stars all completely wonderfully merge into one single, profoundly beautiful, perfectly harmonious, incredibly peaceful, gentle breath. Absolutely everything is completely, perfectly in its deeply rightful, wonderful, quiet place, and absolutely all is entirely, perfectly, profoundly, beautifully well in the incredibly vast, sleeping, perfectly gentle ancient world. You are completely, absolutely ready to wonderfully, entirely let go softly, beautifully releasing the last tiny, delicate, completely thin thread of your waking, heavy consciousness. Allow the completely profound, deep, absolutely perfect, beautifully ancient, wonderful peace to completely, totally, perfectly pull you deeply down into magnificent, unbroken sleep. As we slowly prepare to leave this magnificent, ancient kingdom of stone and starlight, take one final, deeply peaceful look at the beautiful sleeping city of Chichen Itza. The grand, towering pyramids stand as eternal, perfect monuments to a wise, gentle people who deeply understood the profound, beautiful rhythms of the quiet earth and the vast, turning cosmos. They did not simply build a city, they masterfully, beautifully wove a perfect, harmonious connection between the deep, quiet jungle and the glittering, silent heavens above. The incredible, slow turning of their beautiful stone calendars, the gentle, soft descent of the shadowed serpent, and the incredibly calm, perfect reflection of the magnificent night sky in the sacred waters. All of these ancient, beautiful wonders speak of a profound, enduring peace. They beautifully remind us that there is a perfect, quiet order to the vast universe, a gentle, absolutely reliable rhythm that holds absolutely everything in a safe, comforting, and wonderfully secure embrace. The ancient Maya profoundly knew that every bright, active day must beautifully, inevitably surrender to the soft, quiet, and deeply restorative necessity of the dark, peaceful night. Just as the magnificent, incredibly heavy limestone peacefully releases its gathered warmth back into the cool, silent air, you too can completely, beautifully release the last lingering weight of your long, busy day. The ancient city now rests in absolute, perfect silence, entirely blanketed by the incredibly soft, whispering canopy of the emerald jungle and the pure, gentle silver light of a million distant, watchful stars. Every carved stone and every quiet courtyard beautifully echoes a timeless lullaby, gently promising that tomorrow will arrive in its own perfect time. But for now, there is only the beautiful, silent rest of the present moment. It is a profound, beautifully quiet world that requires absolutely nothing from you, gently offering only a vast, magnificent, deeply comforting sanctuary where your heavy, tired spirit can wonderfully, entirely, and perfectly let go. Now, our soft, beautiful journey through the ancient, quiet stone pathways gently, perfectly, comes to a complete, peaceful end. The incredibly bright, silvery moon begins its slow, magnificent, beautiful descent toward the quiet, dark horizon, beautifully casting incredibly long, deeply soothing, wonderful shadows that softly, entirely blanket the quiet, sleeping world. You are entirely, perfectly safe, wonderfully secure, and beautifully held within this profound, ancient, unending calm. Feel the wonderful, gentle, beautiful heaviness in your tired, resting limbs, a beautiful, incredibly comfortable weight that softly, gently pulls you deeper and perfectly deeper into the warm, protective, incredibly soft embrace of your own quiet bed. Your breathing is incredibly slow, perfectly steady and beautifully, profoundly deep, wonderfully matching the slow, gentle, incredibly ancient rhythm of the sleeping earth itself. Absolutely every single wandering thought has beautifully, completely softened, smoothly melting gently away, like a completely soft, delicate mist, dissolving perfectly into the cool, vast, silent night. There is absolutely, completely nowhere else you need to be, and absolutely nothing else you need to do in this beautiful, quiet moment. The vast, magnificent, beautiful universe is perfectly, quietly turning slowly above you, keeping a gentle, loving, perfectly silent watch as you beautifully, completely surrender to the profound, deeply healing power of absolute, perfect rest. Let the ancient, quiet, beautiful whispers of the magnificent, peacefully sleeping city carry you completely, wonderfully away, gently floating you smoothly on a perfectly calm, deeply beautiful river of pure, undisturbed, magnificent tranquility. May your quiet dreams be incredibly soft, beautifully peaceful, and profoundly, perfectly restorative, gently painted with the deep, calming indigo of the vast, sleeping night sky and the pure, soothing, beautiful silver of the eternal shining stars. As the quiet night softly deepens, allow yourself to drift into the deepest, most comforting slumber. You are perfectly, beautifully ready. Let go entirely. Good night and sleep deeply.